Hello everybody, this is Sneaky the Lost and welcome back to Omnifactory. I know in last episode we were talking about the blast furnace and the pyrolyze oven, or the coking oven as I'm going to be referring to it here on out, because that's effectively what it is. But we really need just a little bit more infrastructure to really get this going. In particular, I was wanting an assembly machine, because if we look at circuit design, we'll see these resistors. Now, we've been using this recipe here. We started off using this one, which is the copper wire. We switched over as soon as we got the wire mill to using a fine copper wire, which reduced our copper consumption 16-fold. But if we make it in the assembler, 4 fine copper wire and a coal dust makes 12 resistors instead of 2 fine copper wire, coal dust, and some paper to only make 3. So much more efficient way of making resistors. The vacuum tubes are a little bit cheaper, not nearly as substantially cheaper, but a little bit cheaper. And we're gonna need an assembler to make the tier 2, the second tier 1 circuit anyway, because it can only be made in an assembler, so we're gonna need an assembler machine. But an assembling machine is gonna need a couple of robot arms, a couple of conveyor modules. Each of these robot arms is gonna need 2 motors and a piston. Each piston is going to need a motor. Conveyor belts are gonna need a couple of motors. We're gonna need like 10 electric motors to make this darn thing. And that's a lot of electric motors, a lot of iron rods, and a lot of magnetic iron rods. Remember, the only way we have right now making magnetic iron rods is 1 iron rod and 4 redstone. And that's gonna kind of start getting expensive. So we're gonna make a couple of more machines to make this a lot cheaper for us going forward. First off, let's go ahead and work on being able to magnetize iron and eventually steel rods without needing to spend redstone for it, and that's going to be the basic polarizer. As you can see, I've made a bunch of components between episodes. I did an absolute metric ton of resource processing as well. We'll see that in just a bit here. So we're going to go ahead, and this isn't too bad, just a couple of iron rods, some 2x10 wire, some 10 cable, and an LV machine hull, and boom. There we go. LV polarizer. And that's also a quest. The next thing we're going to want is an LV lathe. This is going to be able to let us make rods much cheaper. It'll be a 1-for-2 ratio instead of a 1-to-1 ratio. And again, we're getting away from the hand tools that are constantly breaking and need to be constantly replaced. So it's just a good idea overall. And of course, for automation purposes, we're going to want to do it anyway. So let's see what we're going to need. A diamond, some 10 cables, a couple of primitive circuits, an LV electric motor, and a piston. So let's go ahead and get this taken care of. Now, that's going to need a motor. That's going to need a motor. So we're going to need a couple of motors. So let's go ahead and try out this new polarizer and see how it works. And it's just boom and boom. It's very fast, very simple. I will never need a higher tier polarizer. I can just use that polarizer for the rest of the game. It's going to be that simple. So, couple of electric motors, 1 electric piston. What's going on? I've got 3 steel plates, 2 steel rods, a steel small gear, a motor. I need more 10 cable. Of course I need more 10 cable. I always need more 10 cable. So let's go ahead and do this. Now here I have, as you can see, done a little bit of auto crafting, auto exporting into inventories, macerating a couple of things. As you can see, I've got a little bit of copper nickel wire. That's going to be useful going forward. So let's go ahead and let's see. Where are my rubber? Oh, there are my rubber sheets. Good. There we go. Now then, one piston, basic lathe. All right. I'm surprised that wasn't a quest. Well, the polarizer at least was a quest. We'll go ahead and collect those. That's odd. I would have figured the lathe would have been a quest. Oh well. Anyway, so now that we've got that going, we can probably make these things a little bit more efficiently. So we're going to want robot arms and conveyor modules. So robot arms is 310 cables, 2 electric motors, and a pump, and then a couple of steel rods, and a circuit. Yeah. And we're going to need 2 of them for the assembler. Now the conveyor modules is going to be 2 motors, 6 sheets, and a 10 cable. That's not going to be so bad. Let's go ahead and get this knocked out real quick. So I'm going to need 6 iron rods, 2 of them magnetic. So let's go ahead and grab a little bit of iron, chunk it in the lathe, and you see it doesn't do too badly. I will of course eventually want to upgrade that. Also, do apologize if you can hear the machines in the background. Our backyard neighbor is doing some renovations on their properties. Here we go. And then a couple of magnetic rods. So I want a couple of more electric motors. And I'm gonna need more 10 cable, obviously. Why would I just make a couple of 10 cable when I know I'm gonna need a metric ton of it? And yes, that is a metric ton, not the imperial short ton. There actually is a difference, even though it's fairly minimal. A metric ton being 1,000 kilograms, and an imperial short ton being just 2,000 pounds. So there we go. I'm out of fine copper wire. Wow. Okay. I've got some over here. You notice I've moved my circuit design over to this work table. Well, this one deals in the components. So 1 and 2. And I'm going to need 2 more of them. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm going to need 2 more of them, because I'm going to need another conveyor belt. Looks like I may have to smelt up some more iron. And I may actually... vanadium... Yeah, I may actually have to go ahead and just buy some. Okay, it's not too bad. Two Omni nickels. I could go out there and just go out to my magnetite deposit and just start mining, but I don't want to spend that time. This is a bit of me having a foobar with my ore processing. I was trying to create all of these LV machine hulls and some other stuff that I would need for the pyrolyzed oven. Yeah, the ULV machine casings is 8 iron plates each, so that's kind of where all of my stuff went to. I'm just gonna go ahead and smelt this up real quick, because it would just take way too long to try and greg it up. So here we go. So into the lathe goes another 3 ingots. Two of which get polarized. There we go. Toss these in here, get another couple of motors. Now then, so I have 10 cable. So we're gonna unlock the conveyor module, because we're going to need a bunch of those. In fact, let's go ahead and toss that into our inventory. That should be a quest, although they may want us to make the robot arms first. Yeah, robot up. Here they are. Yes, it is a quest. And there it is. Cool. Claim that. Whew. Now these robotic arms. Robotic arms are not cheap. They are probably one of the more expensive items we need to make consistently. So we're gonna need more 10 cable, obviously. More motors. So 2, 4, 6 more motors. 6 more motors. We'll go ahead and start lathing that up. Some steel rods, which I can also now lathe up and save myself some steel and some tin cabling. So I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't leave some steel rods laying around. No, that was for the other one. Okay, cool. So, I'm gonna go ahead and steal a bit of coal dust here. Couple of coal dust, couple of wrought iron. Make myself some steel because I'm gonna need some steel rods. So 6. Whoops. Oh, these guys. Here we go. Oh, 12 of you, 6 of you. We're also going to need 1210 cable, which we actually have, and more fine copper wire. Okay, we'll toss in some copper wire and then some fine copper wire. How's our steel doing? We've got our steel. Awesome. So we're going to need ultimately another 4 steel rods, so that's going to be 2 steel ingots. There we go. Now you may notice my cobalt pickaxe is almost completely broken. You also notice I have a lot of dark steel ingots. These two are related. I just went ahead and mined up some obsidian just to get me going, really. And now we could just take this copper wire, run it through a second time, and get our fine copper wire going. We don't really need a whole lot of it immediately. Well, we'll need another 8. There's 4, 8. There we go. Another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 motors. I need 2 more electrical pistons. So I'm going to need 3 plates, 2 more rods, and 2 small gears. Well, let me get the small gear mold going here real quick. Get those knocked out. I am going to need some more refined iron. So we'll do that. So I'm going to need some more steel. There we go. Pull the mold out so I don't accidentally start casting small gears and things I don't want. There we go. You can go ahead and throw these in here for another set of steel rods. And now I'm going to need 6 steel plates. So we'll go ahead and cook up 6 more steel. Bada bing, bada boom. But as you can see, this is just makes things so much cheaper to use the lathe and the polarizer, which is the only reason I didn't have all of the stuff for the assembler already banged out, because it was just going to be so much cheaper to do it this way. Toss some of these steel ingots over here for some plates. And that should get these pistons knocked out. Now we'll need a couple of electronic circuits, primitive circuits. So some of you guys. Ah, right. More fine wire. And more of you guys. Make more of you guys, which I need another couple of reinforced iron plates. Let's get that knocked out. And then we'll get the steel taken care of. And of course, all of this is in preparation for really being able to tier up to the next tier. Oh, red alloy cable. I need 6 red alloy cable. So we will take a piece of copper, a couple of pieces of copper. Now we can just toss the copper into a macerator. That's really fast now. Unfortunately, there really is no way of getting around the copper and 4 redstone recipe for this stuff, which is kind of a pain on our redstone consumption. But, you know, there's worse things to have problems with. Toss that in there. Wow, I'm actually out of rubber plates. Color me impressed. Go into the compressor. Make some more. I am one red alloy cable short. Of course I'm one alloy red cable. Why wouldn't I be? Why wouldn't I be? I can count, honest. Except right now, apparently. Grab a bit of redstone. One more, please. Pitch that in here. Pitch that in here. Pitch that in here. Now, primitive circuits. Thank you. Okay, so I've got the pumps. Am I... Oh, right. Steel plates. And I'm missing a bit more. What is it now again, people? Oh, yeah, tin cable. You know what? Let's just go ahead and do more tin cable like that. I mean, we all know I'm eventually going to need it. I am never going to be able to get away from tin cable. So, 2 pistons. And 1 robot arm. What am I missing? Tin cable, of course. Why not? Of course, I am missing tin cable. And I'm actually missing rubber. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and sleep the night away because I do not wish to hear the zombies drone on about their Lord and Savior Herobrine. You know, you put up a no loitering, no proselytizing sign, and people just ignore it. I don't get it. There we go. Pick up a healthy amount. We're just trying to get this last thing taken care of real quick. Oops. There we go. And for want of rubber sheets, there we go. And there's our second robot arm. So now we've got robot arms, we've got the conveyors, we've got the LV machine hulls. Let's go ahead and call that complete. Also, I made up the first primitive processors. Let's see. For some reason they don't have the assembler as a quest. Interesting. So let's go ahead and get this assembling machine taken care of. I will need 2 circuits. Processors. So I will head over here where I've got a couple. Unfortunately, we're going to need to use these primitive ones for just a bit longer. So 210 cables, got it. 2 of these guys, 2 of these guys, 2 of these guys, this guy. I should have it. Yes! Alright! That's... Oh, there is a quest for it. I just couldn't find it. There it is, right there. Excellent! This will allow me to really get things going. That's going to be awesome. Now, over here is where I'm going to be building the coking oven over here, and then the blast furnace over here. You'll notice I've ran some conductive iron energy conduit. There's going to be a CEF right here. The blast furnace is getting its own dedicated CEF because it has 2 input hatches that take 2 amps each. So that's 4 amps right there. So that's an entire 4 amp CEVLV right there, and it just takes the whole thing. And you know what? I'm kind of good with that. And then I'm going to give the coking oven its own dedicated thing, even though it only takes 2 amps, not 4. I may go ahead and put a chemical machine next to it and run it off of the same one, simply because eventually I'm going to want to do that. You see, immediately, of course, we're wanting that to make the phenol substrate, but once we get into the tier 3, or the third tier 1, excuse me, circuits, what we're going to want to do is, you see the tier 2 circuits, or the second tier 1 circuit, excuse me. I keep calling them a tier 2 circuit, but they are a second tier 1 circuit. Is going to require this phenolic substrate. And the only thing I'm going to be using phenol for is to make this phenolic substrate in a chemical reactor. So I might as well just put the chemical reactor right over Mia, tell this to automatically output to it, feed it boards, Bob's your uncle, auto crafting. Crafting on demand is kind of a trap in this pack. You can do crafting on demand, but it's going to slow you up. You're going to want certain resources kept in storage in bulk, because you're going to need them in bulk when you start making stuff, like circuits, circuit boards, things along these lines. You're not going to want to make them one-off every time you want to make something that uses them. You're going to want to keep like a stack or so in stock at all times, so that you can just say, okay, I'm going to make this thing, and then the system will automatically make you more without you having to tell it to do that. It's just a better way of doing GregTech. It's just a different way of thinking about your processing. And to help me with that, there's another mod in this pack besides AE2. This is a mod that a lot of people may not remember. It's called Logistics Pipes. It's back in 1.12.2. It's different. And I really look forward to playing around with it more, because this is what we're going to be using with the supplier pipes to keep a certain amount of certain resources stocked at all times. You can absolutely do that with AE2. But I'm going to use logistics pipes because it's available and it's nifty and fun and cool. So that will also reduce the load on my AE2 network once it gets up and running. And I can actually do logistics pipes theoretically a lot earlier, because I don't have as many components I need for it. So may actually get that started here in the next couple of episodes. But next episode, obviously, we're going to have to do these multi-block structures. So to make the pyrolyze oven, I'm going to back up here real quick. To make the pyrolyze oven, I need copper nickel blocks. I've got those. The ULV machine casings, I've got those. The buses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buses. Each one requires an LV machine hull, by the way. I happen to have 5 LV machine hulls available. Hey, there's a concept for you. So I've almost got everything I need to do that, except for the pyrolyze oven itself. So we made that, we've made that, we've made that, we've made those, we've made those, we've made those, we've made that. So pyrolyze oven itself requires another ULV machine hull, 2 4x copper nickel wires, an electric pump that we haven't made yet, 2 pistons, and 3 of the tier 2 circuits. So the processors, the ones that requires 4 printed circuits and a diode. So I'm going to get that banged out between episodes. We're going to come back and we're going to start getting into really getting some stuff taken care of here. We're about to tech up to medium voltage tier once we get this blast furnace taken care of. And once we do that, a lot of things open up to us. We start being able to just start doing a lot more with our automation. And at that point, we're probably going to spend several episodes setting up our infrastructure, just setting up automatic processing of things so that we have the tools and resources and materials available to be able to continue on. So that's going to be an enormous jump in our capabilities, and I intend to fully take advantage of it. We are going to need some more of these things for the blast furnace. 11 heat-proof machine casings, which is Invar plates, and an Invar frame. But since I have an assembler, I don't need to use the stupid thingies. Invar frame, Invar plates, makes 3 of them, so I'm going to need 4 craftings of that, because the blast furnace controller itself requires 1 as well. 3 more. Oh, these are only tier 1 circuits. Excellent. Some furnaces. We already have 16 copper nickel coil blocks there. We've got the copper nickel wire to make 12 more. That was a journey and a trial. That's a lot of nickel that just went into that, and a lot of copper too, but the nickel especially. So we're actually almost to this point. Next episode probably we'll bang those out, and we'll get continue to get going. But at that point, we're going to run out of the throughput from the actual conductive iron energy conduit, because that blast furnace eats up 4 volts at 32, or 4 amps at 32 volts. That's 128 EU times 4 is 512 RF per tick. So we're actually going to be outstripping our power supply, and we'll need to update our power supply at that point. So it's a never-ending battle of increased supply to produce demand, and then increased demand to produce supply. But until then, this is Sneaky the Lost, signing off.